Is ready for her reunion tour with the Supremes, and today we can reveal what they will sing, what they will wear, and where they will kick off their summer concert tour.
Baby love, stop in the name of love. Where did our love go? Love is here, now you're gone. Love is like an itching in my heart.
They are the songs of the Supremes, and Diana Ross, the Supreme diva herself, is back and heading out on tour for a summer concert series titled Diana Ross and the Supremes Return to Love.
I decided to do this really very much for our fans.
But some fans are asking, where did their love go? They are upset over the tour because, as we reported last month, one of the original Supremes, Mary Wilson, will not be involved. Wilson is upset over the amount she was to be paid for the tour, $2 million to Diana's reported $20 million. According to Wilson's camp, promoters last week did agree to a higher fee, but talks broke down anyway. At a press conference carried live exclusively over the internet by centerseat.com, Ross addressed Mary's absence.
This was never called a reunion tour. I think the media is very powerful and they just took this and ran with it. But sometimes there's obstacles and, I don't think anybody was willing to go as far as she thought they should.
So Ross will head out on tour with two Supremes who had joined the group during the 1970s post-Diana. Lynda, Laurence, and Scherrie Payne both performed at separate times with Mary Wilson after Diana went solo. The newly formed trio will perform together for the first time ever on the Oprah Winfrey Show tomorrow. And Center Seat's cameras were behind the scenes with Diana Ross and the Supremes for a fashion shoot just days before the big announcement.
You know what? I think it's going to be truly very magical. I really do.
And they even showed off some of the diva-like clothes they will be wearing on tour.
Beautiful gowns.
Yes, gorgeous clothes. Little glamour.
Well, our camera crews were on double.
Diana Ross makes news bringing back the Supremes without one of the original members.
I wish that she had had a bigger vision to see what this all means.
We'll tell you why Mary Wilson won't be joining the upcoming tour. As Diana Ross announces a major tour of her Motown band, a founding member of the Supremes has been left behind. Now Diana comes to ET for her side of the story. Diana Ross arrived with two lesser-known Supremes at Grand Central Station to announce the launch of their summer Return to Love tour. News reports have claimed
the film is a romantic...
A music fan of the 60s, you're going to like this. Diana Ross is going on a new tour with, yes, the Supremes. This is called Return to Love Tour, and as reporter Manny Medrano tells us now, it's not all the original members.
Ladies and gentlemen, Diana Ross and the Supremes!
It's being billed as the Return to Love Tour. Diva Diana Ross today announced a new tour with the Supremes, although the two singers signed up, Lynda, Laurence, and Scherrie Payne, actually joined the group after Ross's departure 30 years ago. Diana Ross made the announcement at Grand Central Terminal.
My first thought was, I want to do each song in its entirety, so how many songs can I do in a 2-hour show? And we come up with 30 to 40 songs. And that, that's just the beginning.
In the early 60s, Diana Ross and the Supremes belted out hit after #1 hit. Left out of Ross's new tour is the only other remaining original Supreme, Mary Wilson, who is said to be upset about the development. Diana Ross says it's the music that's driving the tour.
I want it to be when the audience walks in there and they buy a ticket, they walk away, they have seen a spectacular show.
The tour will open June 14th in Philadelphia and run through an August 5th finale at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Manny Medrano, Channel 4 News.
If you're interested, the tickets for the Return to Love Tour go on sale 1 week from today, and that wraps it up for us here on the news at 4 o'clock. Michelle?
Is on her Return to Love Tour. Hello, everyone. I'm Sean Robinson in for Pat O'Brien.
And I'm Nancy O'Dell, and Diana Ross. Mary Wilson are playing She Said, She Said. That's what's happening in Hollywood right now. We have the story from both sides on why the big Supremes reunion tour will take place without Mary Wilson.
Somehow, there was a breakdown. And if we had continued to break down, my choice would have been not to tour at all. And I just really thought we should.
So the show will go on without original Supreme Mary Wilson. Diana Ross goes on the record about the public battle that has erupted between her and Wilson and what led to the final decision to tour with two lesser-known post-Diana Supremes.
It's about the music. It's not about individuals playing games and, all that. And things should be in the past and we should just have a good time.
The 56-year-old singing superstar tells us when the tour was first suggested, she picked up the phone right away to call Mary.
I would have loved it to happen. I made the initial call and I said, are you interested in this idea? If you are, would you be willing to commit for a summer tour?
But Wilson, when we spoke with her last month, had a different story about the first phone call.
But in the summer, this past summer, I was contacted by Scott Sanders, and I guess he works with Diana or something like that. And he said that, he had talked her into doing this reunion. I'm like, great, I've been wanting to do this reunion for years.
Mary says she didn't hear from Diana until December of 1999.
So I expressed to her, my concern about not being contacted. And it's my life. I need to know.
Mary did say yes, however, and then promoters and lawyers got involved, offering less money than Wilson was willing to take. $2 million to Diana's reported $20 million. Ross insists that she had nothing to do with the negotiations, including the money.
I stayed away from it on purpose. The negotiations were between her lawyers, the promoters, and I think the producer of the show, but I had nothing to do with it.
But Access Hollywood has learned today that some say Diana may have been more involved than she says. Mary Wilson's publicist tells us that on March 23rd, the promoter, Arthur Fogel, contacted Mary to see what it would take to get her to join the tour. Just 5 days later, a deal had been struck, and the promoter, Fogel, said he was excited and thrilled to have Mary join the tour. All he had to do was present it to Diana. The next day, Fogel tells Mary's publicist that the deal is off, and today, Mary's publicist comments, quote, "If you ask me, did Diana pull the tour? I can't tell you she said no, but the facts are a deal was worked out. The promoter, Arthur Fogel, said he just had to present it to Diana. Then the next morning, he called and said, it's too late. The train has left the station. The deal's off the table. You figure it out." Well, Arthur Fogel, the tour's promoter, reiterated to Access Hollywood today that the two sides could not reach an agreement. Diana Ross and the Supremes' Return to Love tour kicked off on June the 14th in Philadelphia. Meanwhile, Diana will also be honored this Sunday, April the 11th, at the annual VH1 Divathon. Sean.
Well, Nancy, we've learned today that